Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy Monday to you all. Hopefully, your week is off to a brilliant start. Let's continue with the NCT DOJAEJUNG debut. We checked out the title track. It was a whole lot of fun, and I said I wasn't sure if I was going to get to the album, and I was going to base it off of how much I enjoyed the title track, and well, it was safe to say I very much enjoyed the title track. So we're gonna move on to the rest of the Perfume EP album. Let me actually pull up the credits real quick. Boom. Okay. So we've listened to Perfume. We're gonna skip Perfume. We're gonna jump over straight into Kiss. We've got Dive, Strawberry Sunday, Can We Go Back, and Ordinary. 5 songs. And already I'm very much excited about the fact that I see 2 London Noise composition credits on here, and I love London Noise's stuff, so I'm very much excited to hear those as well. But here we go. Now, if you're wondering why we're over on YouTube instead of on Spotify, well, DOJAEJUNG seems to be a big enough of an artist to get accurate and reliable color-coded lyric videos out on release day, which is, considering it is NCT, it kind of makes sense why. That's nothing against, like, that's not bashing Tempest, who we checked out today, by any means. I have the utmost respect for Tempest and what they've done. But when it comes to me and lyric videos, I had a spell of really just bad lyric videos at one point in March, I think, where it was just every single lyric video we tried to check out was just either incorrect, or like the line distributions were all over the place, the lyrics weren't correct, and it's been very hard to try and find reliable lyric videos. Having said that, Zati Farani has always been the ever reliable source for color-coded lyric videos, and I'm glad we got pretty much the entire album from one source. Makes my job a lot easier and gives me a sense of ease knowing that these are coming from a place that is very reputable. So let's jump in with Kiss. Here we go. Where did that 808 come from?
You're bad. 맘에 들어. Oh, yeah. 머릿속에 네가 머물러. 해집고는 또 건드려. 짙은 너만의 흔적을 남겨. Yeah. 조금씩 I'm falling for you. 좁혀지는 초점.
Again, it's kind of going along that suave, mature route. I like it. Rich on the vocal harmony as well. That 808 in that little post chorus was so low, it was like subharmonic growling low. That was cool. Oh my god, Jaehyun, that was smooth. Oh my god, they're all smooth with the vocals. Oh, take it in the major real quick. Give me all the vocals. Nice head voice flips. Whew. Damn. Okay. I need some background context. I am not familiar with NCT all that much. Like, I've gotten to the point where I can, I'd say like 65% get the NCT Dream members, and then maybe a couple of the members from like other units, like 127 or U. Like, I'm pretty sure I can. Like, Doyoung is one that I can pick out pretty easily. Doyoung along with Mr. Tail. I think Taeyong I can get pretty well. Yuta maybe? It's a big maybe. And then like the 7 Dream members I could probably get. But that's kind of like my level when it comes to... Oh yeah, and Johnny too. I can definitely get Johnny. But like, that's kind of like my level when it comes to NCT knowledge. So I don't know what Jaehyun and Jungwoo, like, if they are part of any other subunits than DOJAEJUNG, or like what roles they have throughout other NCT tracks and things like that. But all of them are really smooth with the vocals. Like, oh my gosh, it's really interesting how both like Perfume and Kiss so far have really given me the feeling of like what a K-popified version of like, it's like soulful R&B boy group music from like the early 2000s modernized in NCT form. It gives me that feeling of it. Stylistically, it's not really like the early 2000s boy group music, kind of like say, oh, let's keep it same agency, Tongfang Shinki's like Hug from 2004 or 5. Like, that's got like the really cheesy like boy group harmonies and things like that. It doesn't fit, like the song doesn't sound like that, but it gives me the same feelings as I get from listening to like that era of boy group music. It's really interesting because it's stylistically nothing like it. I'm gonna guess it's because of the really smooth harmonies. Like, you can feel the soul in the vocal runs and stuff that they do, and that's kind of why I ask like what specifically Jaehyun and Jungwoo's like backgrounds are in terms of like what positions they hold, because they are all so smooth with the vocals, and yet they're members that, admittedly, I never really followed at 127 or U all that closely, but these are members that I don't really recognize, but they've got vocals that make me think I should recognize them, but I don't, and that has me confused. Does that make sense? So if you can give me some background information on Jaehyun and Jungwoo, that would be greatly appreciated. Doyoung I think I'm pretty good on, but that being said, Kiss is brilliant. I think it's a really good follow-up to Perfume as well. It kind of fits the same vibe, kind of not too quick, really soulful, nice and smooth with it. And that means Dive next up. Is it going to follow similar lines, or are we going to get a little change up here? There's a little bit of that suaveness to this, but it's packaged a little bit differently. Oh. Not much of a style switch into the chorus. We just have the impact synths
난 주저없이 너에게로 dive
Oh, there it is.
늘 꿈꿔왔던 너에게로 dive
Really smooth vocal harmony too.
이제 알 것만 같아 사막 그 너머 끝에 펼쳐져 푸른 sea I'm falling through 편안해지는 silence 누구도 찾을 수 없게 깊이 더 깊이 투명한 그 빛으로 날 물들여
We're getting some head voice, get some chest voice, some airiness, get some power behind it.
너는 한 방울씩 drip drop 나에게로 번져와 내 말랐던 마음 위로 비가 되어 내려와 손 쓸 수 없는 파도처럼 더 세게 밀려와 나를 벅차쳐 drip drop 어느새 가득 차난 주저없이 너에게로 dive
That
늘 꿈꿔왔던 너에게로 dive
this post-chorus is so satisfying to listen to.
좀 더 깊이 너에게로
It'll die.
늘 꿈꿔왔던 너에게로
Die. Yeah, it's the way it's got the really fast syllables leading into the word die that's really smooth. Oh, my allergies are flaring up again.
너는 촉촉하게 drip drop 나의 안에 스며와 따스해져 너의 위로 꼭 안아주는 것 같아 내 맘속 가득 채울 수 있게 좀 더 가까이 와 나는 벅차쳐 drip drop 너로만 가득 차난 주저없이 너에게로 dive
Oh, yeah. It'll die. It's that descending scale too, is really satisfying. It'll die. It'll die. Oh, 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 that was tasty. Oh, that was so tasty. Again, they are so freaking smooth with it. Oh my goodness. It's funny that trios are... A trio is an arrangement that I feel like you don't get a lot of in K-pop. So I'm trying to think of like how many groups out there in the world have had a trio as like the main front line. I am thinking like Epic High a trio. Limelight is a trio. OEC Odd Eye Circle is a trio. Like I'm trying to think, and I can't really come up with that many trios. Trios are always interesting because, like, when it comes to how you break apart a song, dividing 3 into 4 is actually quite difficult. But what you get by having an odd number in your lineup is that you have a whole bunch of different combination of voices you can put together. But with DOJAEJUNG, and all 3 members included within it, their vocals are so spectacular that it doesn't really matter. Like, you know how there's sometimes in a group where people are more, like, their vocals are more suited to, like, the bridge or, like, the chorus or, like, the verse, things like that. And it's like, if you listen to them for long enough, you can kind of, like, guess when a member is going to jump on the track based off of where you are in the song. I don't get that feeling from this subunit, mainly because they're so vocally strong that you can put them anywhere in the song and it wouldn't make a difference. And I think that's really cool, especially that final chorus. Once you got like members on the like high ad libs over the chorus part, like it didn't matter who the member was, they were gonna float on the vocals and they were going to kill it every single time. And that has me so impressed because I love a good vocal. Like I sang choir growing up in high school, and I very much enjoy listening to like a rich vocal harmony, and I'm getting so much of that on this project so far, and I'm loving it. And this was just so freaking smooth, like the this part here, the that's so smooth. It's just the way where the dive, the way the descending, it's the same interval in between the two notes, but it descends at the same rate. So da 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 da, and then the way that like kind of sudden rush of syllables releases with the word dive. It's just shoo. It's a really nice release to finish the phrase. That's so satisfying. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. All right, what do we got next? We got Strawberry Sunday, but it's Monday. I'm not sorry.
Yo, yeah, let's go. 네 흔적 가득한 table, yeah. 함께했던 어젯밤을 증명해. 전부 녹아내린 candle. 밤새워 나눈 모든 이야기는 둘만이
Already we're getting background vocals.
한 주가 지나가 이곳에서 함께 만난 strawberry Sunday girl. 완벽한 strawberry Sunday girl. 햇살 가득한 Monday and Tuesday. 커져가는 이 떨림이 너의 고민 우리 부르지. 좀 늦게 눈 뜨면 어때? 포근한 서로의 품과
I like this plucky synth kind of motif we have in the second verse now. It's different from the first verse.
같은 나를 열어줄 사랑스러운 이 맞춤 새로워 마침내 tempo dessert 함께 만난 strawberry Sunday girl 완벽한 strawberry Sunday girl
Oh my god. It's so smooth.
우리 부르지. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, your taste so sweet. 창을 열어봐 아이스크림 같은 white cloud. 고운 바람 속
Oh, the way Doyoung leads in that verse. God, the airy Doyoung tone to lead in that verse is nuts. Oh. And a bona fide outro as well. Oh. Honestly, this album is 4 for 4. It's so good. Oh, it's just the vocals are so strong and so soulful, and even on like a, this is a, admittedly I think a cutesy song for like compared to the rest of the album, but it just sounds so suave. Oh, I'm running out of things to say because it's just the same compliments over and over and over again. Their vocals are so good. And I feel like it's a cop out answer at this point because I've said that for literally every single song on the album. But it still holds true no matter like what type of song it is every single time. It's just the vocals. And they're really balanced vocals too. Like it's not just high vocals all the time. We're getting some nice low tones, we're getting some powerful mid tones, we're getting some really airy high tones. And that's not just from one member, it's across the board. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Alright, what do we got next? Can we go back? Now, from what I've seen on the interwebs, this is a song that's been performed before, but not necessarily like studio released. If I've understood this correctly, let me know if I've got that wrong. But this is kind of like a song that's already been released to the public in like stages. That DOJAEJUNG have performed this in some capacity at some point. I don't know if it must have been the SM Town concert at the end of last year or something like that. But I haven't heard it, so I'm very much excited for it. Send it.
느릿하게 돌아가는 시계바늘 뱉어봐도 답답하기만
A little bit of choppy guitar to start as well.
있어 지독한 우유증 아주 아주 Can we go back, can we go back yeah. 뒤척이게 만들었던 표정도
Quite a slow song.
만큼 옅어져 한 걸음씩 너에게서 멀어져
Now we're getting the low vocals from Jaehyun again. Octaves.
이름을 꺼내는 게 이제 어렵지 않은 걸 모든 것이 제자리로 돌아와 있는데도 I can't deny, can't deny 느릿하게 돌아가는 시계바늘
There it is. There's that early 2000s boy group vibe that I was looking for.
Can we go back? Can we go back? Can we go back? Can we go back? 머물렀던 시간만큼
Yeah,
지난 뒤
yeah. This is smooth.
잊혀지면 공평할 것 같은데
It's stylistically very different, which I quite like, because I think, like, style-wise, it was starting to get a little bit repetitive, like, in that the songs before this were very similar to each other. I like this little palette cleanser we're getting here.
괜찮은 것 같지만 네가 없는 나는 고장난 채 버티는 것뿐 느릿하게
Oh, just the way that chorus hits. Is that a little Hammond organ right here in the background? Take away the lows for the bridge. Nice. Can we go back? Can we go back? Yeah. That is a crispy guitar. And a bona fide outro as well. Oh, okay, Can We Go Back is very stylistically different from the rest of the album. I'm glad it is, though. Like, it's... The thing is, the album up until this point, like Perfume, Kiss, Dive, and Strawberry Sundae, have all been really good songs. Don't get me wrong. But the fact is, stylistically, they are very close to each other. And while that isn't a problem, because like stylistic continuity is, I think, a pretty important part on like the album composition and style itself, and that like you don't really want to be jumping between genres like every other song because it makes the album feel clunky. So a part of me is very much glad that it's been stylistically consistent up until this point, but a part of me does have that kind of feeling of what if there was a little bit more musical variation in the tracks that we've gotten so far. And I don't really like stand on either side of the fence of this. Like, Can We Go Back is very different. It's slow, but it's still got that same kind of like mature, suave nature to it. It's just not in the package that tracks 1 through 4 have been, where it's a little bit brighter, it's a little bit more modern. I think Can We Go Back is a lot closer in like sound concept to what you would have gotten from like your early 2000s boy group music, while say like Perfume and Kiss had like callbacks to it, but they were a much more modern interpretation of it. But I'm not mad at it. I think Can We Go Back, with its slower pace, allows for a lot more vocal flexing, in that like a lot more like intricate vocal runs, more intricate vocal harmonies, because you don't have to like rush to cram in syllables within it. And I like that because it really does allow their voices to just be unleashed to nature and just pop off and do their own thing. And having that kind of like vocal freedom, especially when all 3 members have the vocal talent to do so, I think is really important. It's not like they weren't flexing the vocals beforehand, but like this type of song, I think, does a similar job to that ballad, in that like in the energy that you don't get from the pacing of the song itself, you have to gain back through other means, and with them, they get the energy of the song back through the vocals. And I think they do a solid job with this. Which leads us to the final track, Ordinary. Typically, last song on the album, an album closer, would be a ballad of sorts. Can We Go Back was pretty close to being a ballad. Knowing their vocals, though, they would absolutely kill a ballad, so I'm kind of excited for this. Here we go. And if you've been around for long enough, you know how much I love a ballad. Yeah, the plucky synths. Oh, that chord sequence. Sounds like a lullaby on steroids. I really do hope that this chorus is going to be 3-part harmony, though. Plus, this is the chorus.
그래서 오늘도 결국 다 참아내고 어쩔 수 없이 건넨 평범한 말 안녕. 데리고 좋은 곳에 가보고
Why does it feel Christmassy now?
싶다. 혹시 네가 허락한다면 네 손을 잡고 같이 걷고도 싶다. 내가 이런 말을 하면 혹시 멀어질까봐 너랑 멀어질까봐 네가 멀어질까봐 내가 이런 말을 하면 네가 싫어할까봐 부담스러울까봐 지금 이 친구 사이도 모두 없던 일처럼 사라질까봐
도영 with the
건넨
vocal flick.
평범한 말 안녕.
Oh, we are going jazzy with it.
어쩔 수 없이 건네 잘
My guy on the
들어가.
keys was
안녕.
feeling himself. Is that the end of the song? No, that's not the end. No. Man. It is just a really good ballad, though. A ballad that strangely sounds Christmassy after verse 2. Still a ballad nonetheless. And like I expected, them three vocals on a ballad is just asking for vocal flexing everywhere. And like you had the nice low tones again, you had the nice low tones, the high tones, the really airy, fluttery head voices, that really nice head voice flips up and down both ways. I just wish. I wish we had like this is one of those songs where it's actually really hard to figure out what part of the song you're on because like the chorus isn't exactly explicitly clear where it is. Like on a pop song, when you listen to it, if you understand like song structure and things like that, you can pretty much immediately nail down where the chorus is within the song. I couldn't really do it with this because it's not as clear as like the rest of the album and just pop song in general. It doesn't really feel like the chorus doesn't give you the feeling of it being a chorus. It just feels like it kind of feels like each verse from opening line to end of the chorus just feels kind of like a poem, like a read poem in a way, where it's just one constant phrase, which I think is a really interesting way to write a song, especially to finish the album as well. Because this song, for me, flows like three separate verses than a pop song with like each individual element, which I don't mind. I just wish that since we got really strong three-part vocal harmonies from these three throughout the rest of the album, that we got maybe like one final chorus where all three members sang together. That's just the one little nitpicky thing about Ordinary that I wish they would have done differently. But that's a very minuscule thing to point out because the song is just really pretty. Really is. That kind of jazzy piano solo caught me off guard, but that's just me being interested in the instrumental parts and things like that. But this was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what I was going to be feeling when I hopped on the title track MV a little while ago today, because when it comes to me and like NCT music, it's very much hit or miss, and it doesn't really matter like what unit of NCT we're watching. It could be 127, it could be NCT U, it could be NCT Dream, it could be now DOJAEJUNG, it could be Wavy. Like there are like typically when it comes to NCT, I've been like a title track merchant for as long as I've been following NCT, like what, a couple years, 2-3 years now. And it's like I've very much been a title track only guy, and that's bad on my part, but besides the point, like even when it comes to their title tracks, like there are certain title tracks that I much prefer over the others, and that's regardless of what subunit it is. And so like going into this DOJAEJUNG like Perfume era, and like the whole EP and every even like title track Perfume itself, I was really kind of one curious but also nervous because I don't like not liking music. Because for me, music is something that like I've always found comfort in listening to and playing. So whenever I come across a song that just doesn't really sit right with me, it makes me feel kind of like a horrible person. And with NCT, I've had such an up and down track record that I was really nervous about it. But that title track was so pretty and it was so good. And this entire album was really good. And I don't know where it's gonna rank, but like in the meantime, it's definitely going on my album of the year list. 'Cause I'm very much impressed with what they've done here. But that's it from me today. Since this is an SM album, there's a very high chance that this gets content ID'd, so this is probably going to be over on P-Cloud. But if it isn't and somehow managed to survive YouTube content ID filters, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy and want to see more channel like on it, it's up there. You can find the back catalog stuff I watched in the past. Drop a subscription if you want to keep up to date with whenever I upload new videos. And if you want to watch another video right away, YouTube recommends you watch that video down there. And if it didn't, and you want to see more, you'll have to go back onto YouTube and kind of do the usual stuff when it comes to YouTube channels. But that being said, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.